Diddy, Liam Payne, mental health, addiction. I want to talk about this because I don't think people have made the connection as to why there is a trend in the entertainment industry in Hollyweird with people getting caught up in drugs, alcohol, wild lives, and a lot of people dying early, and how this is all linked together. Now, don't make the assumption that I'm about to say that I think Diddy was responsible for Liam Payne's death. First things first, I want to say this. Rest in peace, Liam Payne. Like, these types of situations for me are so sad because I grew up, like, I remember Liam, like, One Direction for me, it being in the UK, was like similar with like Little Mix, where I remember seeing them on X Factor. I remember seeing them when they were all solo artists and before they'd even been like put together. I remember all of their like auditions, and even though a lot of their music wasn't necessarily my style, although I do have a favorite member of One Direction of whose music I did listen to for a while. I'm not going to say who. But anyway, I do truly remember the journey. And so for me to see this news was heartbreaking because I was like, I remember like seeing the glimmer in their eyes of like, I'm trying to do this. This is a huge deal. Like, and this is why I speak up about the industry. This is exactly why, because people are so desperate to be in this industry and to get signed and to get these record labels and to sign with Sony, to sign with Def Jam and all these people, Rockefeller and whoever you want to sign with. And I'm trying to sound the alarm bells to say, it might not be worth it once you have everything you want. Like the Pussycat Dolls said, I will never forget this song. I remember I was like 11 years old, and when the Pussycat Dolls song, When I Grow Up, came out. When I grow up, I want to be famous, I want to be a star, I want to be in movies. I remember that so well because they would say, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Like, and when that lyric hit me as an 11-year-old, and I actually started to be careful for what I was wishing for because I was like, that's so real, you know? So be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Just might get it. Just might get it. Say be like literally, I remember it just rang through my head as in like, in the way of which it was like a message to me, like, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And it's like, why would you say that? Like, that was something that stuck out to me as a kid. So seeing society as it is today, seeing like how everything turned out, and seeing what's happened to Liam Payne, it's like to go from watching him like auditioning on X Factor. I'm a kid. I'm here watching the likes of Disney, Nickelodeon. I'm here having big dreams and big imaginations and whatnot. I'm seeing him. I was so happy for them. Like, I was so happy for them, like, to succeed, just like I was for Little Mix. I was so happy for them. I was so proud for them. Then when they like broke into the US and they became huge in the US as well, I was so happy for them and I was so proud for them. So like for me to see like Liam Payne like died at 31 years of age was gut-wrenching in itself. You know what I mean? It was completely gut-wrenching because I was like, wow, like we actually lost such great talent, you know? And I felt like it's not that we lost him because it just happened. I felt like we lost him because he became a victim of society today. Sorry, I had to go and deal with something really quickly. But yeah, so I just felt like I knew within myself that this was just another tale, because the thing that frustrates me about the story is that people will say in society now, and people are saying, oh, if he could have just been sober, the drugs and the alcohol, oh, blah, 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 if he had done this. I'm like, what I don't get how society does not get is that these people are trying to survive. The reason why so many of them are on drugs and doing this and that, right, which we're going to come to the Diddy thing in a second because there's a whole thing to do with that as well. The reason why they're doing these things, it's not because they just casually got involved because they're in the industry. Listen, I've worked in the industry. I've been at these parties. I've been offered things and I've seen things. Okay? People get into this because they're in pain. because they're struggling, because their voice is not being heard, because they're going through things. That's why. So when people are just like, oh, I don't know why, wow, we need to, if he could have just got his sobriety, the sobriety isn't the issue. It's not the root cause of the problem. That's like saying, okay, somebody has cancer. You know what we're going to do? We're not going to try to kill the cancer. We're just going to try to manage it. And just like, no. There's a cancer that needs to be killed that is causing for these symptoms to take place. You know, so that's why when people are so judgmental of people in the industry and they act like, oh, they can't handle the pressure. They can, because they're showing up. Like I say to you guys all the time with Britney Spears. Britney Spears has been on lithium. She's been in a conservatorship. She's been doing whatever. She was still performing up to 2019. It was only because she pulled the plug and she said, I ain't doing this no more. Even the drugs and everything don't affect them. They're all still able to perform. So it's like, there's got to be another reason. Why? There's going to be another reason why because who, like, and this is what I don't get when it comes to topics like addiction. Who do you think in their right mind decides, I want to destroy my life by getting addicted to something? So when I heard this story about Liam Payne, I was upset. He's not my favorite member of One Direction whatsoever. Like I said, I was barely a fan of them over the years. Because it's not really, the boy band thing isn't really my thing. Unless it's a rock band, in which is very much my thing. But anyway, I was like, but I always had an appreciation, a respect. I was always proud of the boys, and I was always happy to see them succeed and to see them win in life. And I always felt that way about them because I saw them from the beginning. I saw how talented they were, and I wished them the very best. So when I saw that Liam Payne had passed away, and the circumstances of which, also, of course, the vague circumstances. So here's the thing I want to say first and foremost. Like I said, well, actually, I just spent a whole time talking about this mental health thing. Society will say all the time about how just go and seek help, go and tell somebody. But you guys are the same people that have been defending and supporting the likes of these people in the industry. When I even talk to Christian folks about a lot of these guys in the industry and women, men and women, it's, oh, well, where's the proof? Oh, I don't know about that, because it makes you uncomfortable. So who is somebody like Liam Payne supposed to speak to if he has suffered in any way? Because some people are now trying to say, oh, there's clips of him talking about Diddy before here, and there's clips of this, and there's clips of that. Now it's all coming to light now that he's dead, obviously, because we as a society always catch up when it's too late. All of that's happening. And everyone's like, oh, if you ever feel like this, reach out. Reach out to who? Because y'all don't be believing nothing. Y'all be calling people like me conspiracy theorists for just saying, let's all just address and just check that the people we're supporting are people that we should be supporting. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you have to agree with what I'm saying. That's why I never get what people get so upset with the things that I say. I'm like, I never said everybody has to agree with me. I said, let's just not assume, based on the things that we can see, that there can't be something heinous going on that we can't see. And now people want to link after the fact. This is why I'm so infuriated by all of this stuff. Because I'm like, it's always that we wake up when it's too late. When there's already 10, 100, 1,000 victims. When people are already dead. And then when we see the signs that something's going wrong, we say, oh, we just hope he can find sobriety. Why is he not choosing sobriety? Do you know what I discovered the other day? This was a mental health expert, psychologist, I believe. So do you know what they said? The opposite of addiction is connection. Isn't that crazy? The opposite of addiction is connection. If I was a young man like Liam Payne, okay? Young, talented, handsome. Not my personal cup of tea. Not gonna lie. But still handsome. Right? It's already going to be hard to find people that are around you who are there for you because they love you for who you are. It's already going to be hard enough to find a woman who's with you because she loves you for who you are. It's going to test the people you had before, friends and family, to see if they really love you or if they just love the money and they love the lifestyle. And then you now become a huge victim as far as Hollyweird is concerned, because there are a whole bunch of predators waiting to take advantage of every single thing that you have to give in order for their own financial gain. Because let's remember, this is called the entertainment business. After all is said and done, right? Let's say you start to meet these big like characters in the industry. Because one of the videos that I saw of Liam was where Diddy was extra holding his hand and being like looking, and it was just a weird interaction. It's one of those, listen, I've dealt with predators in my life. I've seen them, I've experienced them for my own personal self, and I've seen them with others. I've seen them with kids and stuff because of the work that I do. So I can spot predators like I've got the predator radar like nothing else these days. I can sense predatorial people when I see them. And especially because they always have this demeanor of like confidence that they can act and say however they want, because no one's going to say anything, because no one's ever going to believe the other person and everyone's always going to believe them. That's why everybody's all now talking about, hey, when we heard that Diddy said this and we heard that Diddy did. Yeah, because you were always going to do that. This is why they walk around and they get away with it, because they knew you were going to do that. They knew you were going to write off other people. And then now everyone's like, oh, we're so sorry to have lost Liam Payne. He was so young. Oh, if they're going through something, talk to someone. Who the hell is he supposed to talk to? Who the hell is he supposed to talk to when you're the same adults talking about, oh, where is the proof? We don't know about this. That's just a conspiracy theory. He's just on drugs because whatever the entertainment industry, they all just casually end up on drugs. They'll just casually end up with a mental health disorder. This is why you guys are horrific at maths and why I'm absolute expert at algebra. I do truly believe that I am, because I'm good at finding the root of something. I'm like, what is X? Like, it didn't just come from nowhere. Somebody didn't just wake up and decide to have a mental health disorder. I don't care what the doctors are saying. Listen, I work with kids, even as far as this, as we speak right now. The company that I work for, I have my own company, I have my own business doing teaching, and I work for another business, and all the kids that I teach in this other business are either severe special education or severe behavioral issues. And can I tell you that all of the so-called diagnoses they have all stems from the actual life they've lived. And a lot of them are aware of it, but just nobody cares again. So exactly like how people will do with Liam Payne and be sitting there going, oh, his mental health, and he's just an addict. It's the same way they do these kids. Oh, this person has XYZ, LMNOP, all these different diagnoses. But then when there's an adult who's just listening, who's just there, who's just like, hey, I just want to help you out. I'm not making any assumptions. Tell me how I can help. All of a sudden, it's like all those things don't exist and not important anymore. The opposite of addiction is connection. So I'm infuriated about the situation. I'm not upset because I'm not surprised, because I'm fed up. I'm fed up that every time, instead of us being, or most of the time, instead of us seeing the signs ahead of the time and doing something, it's like the people in the United States. I'm going to go there. It's like the people in the United States. Let's actually talk about school shooters for a second, okay? We're going there. Because every time I look into these stories, because see, the thing about me that's different to a lot of the adult population, I don't just run off into the oblivion like a headless chicken with whatever the news is saying or whatever the social media is saying. I go and do my own research and look up the facts of what was actually happening. Not what people are saying, not what people thought, what took place. And can I tell you, every time there is a whole chain of events where there was a young person who either was clearly showing a lot of signs that people like me, I can tell you because I'm a teacher, recently I've had to do another safeguarding training again. I have to do safeguarding, which is being able to spot all of the different potential areas of abuse, neglect, whatever with kids. And I have to do it for vulnerable adults. I have to do prevent and channel. Prevent and channel is preventing radicalization, right? So any form of radicalization, terrorism, all of that. I have to do training to spot all the signs in the kids as part of my job, right? So when these things happen and people act like we don't know how it happened, it doesn't make sense to me. every time I look into these things, there's a whole chain of events of specific things that took place, not just things in people's minds. It's always like this kid was having this particular form of support, therapy, whatever, and then it was taken away for a year, and then whatever happened. Or whatever else. There's always at least a couple of adults who knew that this situation was a risk. Always. But of course, you know the world does again. Oh, guns. And especially because I live in America. I live in England. People are always talking about how, in America, the thing is the guns. It's so dangerous because of guns. I'm like, it's not nowhere is dangerous because of weapons. In a society that is safe, in a society where people are happy and thriving and looking after themselves, you could have the most nuclear weapon just sitting there ready for anybody to go and set off. The red button could be there just in the middle of the town hall, and anybody could go and visit it anytime and no one would touch it. You could have every single drug, fentanyl, whatever you want to have in there, and no one will ever go and take it. The issue isn't the thing. But it'll take everybody 100 years to wake up and realize. Because what do? Instead, we blame something else. Listen, this is the trick the devil taught us in the Garden of Eden. Listen, the Garden of Eden, this is the trick he taught us. To blame something other than the thing that actually needed to be blamed at that time. Eve, the snake. Adam, the woman you gave me. We need to get to the point. So all of this stuff and the way people talk about, and I can see how people are doing the classic thing of, let's talk about this, but we're really just talking about this as just another topic that we're going to care about for 6 weeks. And it's all big news and it's all big story. But at the end of the day, you're going to still go ahead and still be a slave to the devil. And you're still going to go and be a slave to the same exact tactics. And then you're going to have the audacity to critique what I have to say. And critique me. When I'm right. And I've been right. I've been right. I am yet, and I'm not saying this is never going to happen, because it can happen and it might happen. I'm holding my hands up. I am yet to have accused somebody and there's been any definitive proof to prove that I was wrong. Slowly but surely, they're all being proven that I was right. And it's not about me being right. Because I don't care about being right, you guys. I'm not like pathetic and stupid and tit for tat like a lot of people are today. I care about justice and I care about doing what's right and I care about living in the light. I care about the fact that there are people being hurt. I care about the fact that when we are here being ignorant, people like poor Liam Payne have to pass away. And let's say that Diddy and whoever did intervene, which again, Diddy has been known historically to kill people going against what he's doing. People know this. So I don't know where anybody is questioning or concern or like worried. Like, I don't get it. And it will take, what, another 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years, 400 years before people are going to wake up? I ain't got time to do that. Can I tell you guys, listen, I'm 27 years old. I won't have enough energy in 20 years to be doing the things I could be doing now. So I don't have time to be an idiot today. Or ignorant, or naive. Or should I say, willfully ignorant? Because the signs are there. Like, even when I have to do, like, my job, and I do all this training, right? Which I only do just to appease the public. Because I think if you actually care, you don't really need to be trained. It's obvious, you can tell. Especially as a woman, we have intuition. And when you're a woman of the Lord, you have intuition times a billion because you got the Holy Spirit, so you got discernment. I don't really need to do all this stuff, but I do it to tick the boxes to make everybody else feel better, right? Like, we can just be, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to hear from anyone like, oh, it's just sad. If you need help, reach out. Reach out to who? Reach out to who's going to believe who. And even if somebody believes you, oh, I would, but, I'm scared to come up against that person because they're so powerful. Exactly. That's why I believe in Jesus Christ. Because I'm like, we need a power that is greater than every power on earth combined. And Jesus' power is infinite. So that's why I talk about Jesus. People get offended. Listen, I don't care how you feel. I don't care what you believe. I don't care your belief system. I don't care if you're whatever. I don't care. Because guess what? Your belief is not going to compare with the demons and the level of spiritual heaviness that comes from these people. And that's why people don't survive. That's why people end up dead. People end up on drugs. People end up in psychiatric wards. People end up being shunned and cancelled by the public. Because unless you have the power of Christ, which is the only power that is greater than every power that has ever existed combined, you're going to be screwed in the long run. You're not just going to walk away. This is why when people are like, oh, selling your soul to the devil, I'm like, selling your soul to the devil isn't a thing. The only reason it's a thing is because you're not walking straight to Christ. Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. That's why. So of course, because the devil knows what game he's playing. He knows your power level. He knows how to destroy you. Listen, the reason why it's so important that people believe that Jesus died and was resurrected is the fact that he defeated death. So death can't get you anymore. Death can't get you anymore because Jesus defeated death. So what's the devil going to say? I'm going to kill her. That's why he uses in the industry like, oh, if this happens, you'll end up dead, you'll end up this, you'll end up that. Listen, Jesus' blood is greater than all of that. It's like, kill who? Who are you killing? That was the whole purpose of the story of Job in the Bible. Christians talk about it all the time. Like, oh, Job lost everything. Listen, Job was the proof that the devil can take whatever he can, but he can never take your life. If the Lord has willed, he can never take your life. You can do, and that's why God even said you can do everything but kill him. Jesus hadn't even come yet, but the Lord was still protecting life itself in Job. I'm just saying, maybe people are doing certain things. Maybe people are having certain mental health issues. Maybe the people in the industry are on drugs and doing this, that, and the other, not because they're just getting caught up in the lifestyle. Because they're depressed. They're going through hell. And they know that if they speak up, you're going to be more inclined to say, well, we don't know if Diddy did it because is there any proof that he actually did it? Meanwhile, he has proof to annihilate them because he's smart enough because he works with the devil, and the devil's the one who runs the justice system in this country and in this world. So he knows if I have proof of the opposite, I can destroy you. Because the first thing the public will say, is there proof? How do we know? How do we know this is just fake? We don't really know. I don't want to believe it. And the thing is, I don't think people say that because they actually they need the proof. I believe they say that because they don't want to be held accountable to what they're going to have to think and believe if they accept it. And that's a place of privilege. You being privileged enough to not have to address things, that's a privilege. Because some people don't live in that reality. And it'll be those of you who are living in that privilege of, oh, I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's real. Be the same people saying about people like Liam Payne, like, oh, if he just got sober, if he just opened up to somebody. To who? So he can open up to you and say, oh, is there proof? Maybe that's not what he meant. Oh, it was just a different time 50 years ago. All the excuses. So that's why I don't care what adult population has to say. Say what you want to say. Who cares? Yours is as broken and yours is as broken as anybody else. You've just normalized your brokenness, and you've just accepted that, and you've become in partnership and in agreement with chaos. And also, a lot of the times, some people are just living in lives that are too much far from others to understand. Like, if you are not in those scenarios, if you've never been in the industry, if you've never been through certain things, you're never going to get it. Never really. You might be able to sympathize with the concept, but you're never going to get it. And there's a part of you that's always going to believe that something else is happening because your experience is different. And that's why I think that I love that I'm a scientist and that I'm a head over heart kind of person, because I look at data. People can come to me and say whatever they want to say about me, about my experiences. And listen, I base my conclusions off of the data because I know that the number one flaw about us as humans is going off of our feelings. So I'm not trying to do that. I make my decisions based on this. That's how I got here. That's how I won so many things in my life. Because if I'd gone based on emotions, I'll be dead like Liam. It's true. Do you know how many times I've nearly died? I've nearly died a number of times this year. That's why when I say that Jesus defeated death, like, people don't know what they're talking about. It's easy to sit there and judge when no one knows your name, when you're ineffective in your own life. You're ineffective, you're inactive, you're not doing anything, you're selfish and self-serving. As soon as it suits you, you decide to just brush off things because it's uncomfortable for you to think about. Yeah, of course you don't believe that this happened to whatever. Of course you're going to critique me. And you know what's funny? Let's say if I got 100 hate comments under this video, and then I had to make a decision to take my life. You know what people are going to say? Oh, she should have just opened up. There's always somebody you can talk to. I said what I said. That's all I have to say. For now. Until my next video. If life's a game.